You're here to answer for your brother's latest treasons.
Your Grace, whatever my traitor brother has done, I had no part, you know that.
Killing you would send your brother a message.
Can't you just text him or tweet him? He's at Lloyd Rob Lloyd on Twitter. Or is there an underscore in there somewhere?
Leave his face. Actually, don't bother. And I think he's a bit overdressed. Oh my God!
Welcome to Thronecast, the official guide to Game of Thrones. Right, coming up, we look back at episode 4 of season 2, Garden of Bones. Not the most picturesque of gardens, but on the bright side, it doesn't take a lot of watering. And joining me in the throne room, Sophie Turner, who plays Sansa Stark. Would you believe it? Also, Annabelle will be bringing us another victim, I should say candidate, for Game of Thrones superfan. Elio and Linda from Westeros.org will be here to give us their insight, and of course they are also official torturers to House Lannister since 283 AL. And there'll be lots of other stuff and Tish and Piffle and background insight too. Now that was a threat. See the difference? Well, there's one question that we need to ask before anything else this week. What the F was that slithered out of Melisandre's birth canal? It was all smoky and vaporous. I mean, I've heard of that kind of thing going on in Bangkok, but I've never seen it with my own eyes. It was nice, though, to see the black smoke from Lost getting some more work on television. I was worried it was going to be typecast. And the one question that everybody is asking is, how much did it weigh? Surely that's the first thing you want to know about a newborn. Also this week, it looks like Robb Stark may have a new love interest. It's this girl Talissa, this new character, who was tending to a wounded soldier on the battlefield, and their eyes met, and there was this real special connection, I felt, as she was hacking off this guy's foot with a saw. I didn't know amputation could be so romantic. In fact, I am thinking of updating my online dating profile now to include amputation. Ladies, my email address is on screen now. Thoughtful Uncle Tyrion gave Joffrey a belated name day present of 2 prostitutes. Now I have 3 questions on that. The first one is, what's wrong with a book token? The second one is, first she spanked her with a hand. Next, she took a strap and spanked her with that. And then finally, Joffrey gave her this huge rod with a bulbous end. Now, was anyone else surprised when she just hit her with that thing? And thirdly, how did someone so young get into S&M? They don't even have the internet. When I was his age, an advert for a power shower and a bit of bare flesh was enough to get me going. These days it's a lot different though, I'm quite dark. It's amputation, ladies. And Dany and her band of Dothraki stragglers turned up at the city of Qarth. Sorry, Qarth, they're very touchy about that. The greatest city that ever was or ever will be, according to its inhabitants. And to be fair, who could have predicted Swansea at that stage? Anyway, they had a right old trouble getting in. They had to get the 13 down to the front gate, and they had to invoke something called Sumai. And just a little tip, if they ever need to get in anywhere again, just say they're there to read the Lecky meter. If they ask for ID, show them your library card. That's what I do at old biddies' houses. Steal a few biscuits, nick the money from under the mattress. Right, Annabelle, we're going to do your bit early this week because I know you need to get off because you're having a washing machine delivered. So you were scouring the world for the best Game of Thrones fan in the world ever. Yes, I am. And Jeff, I've really enjoyed over the week some of your Game of Thrones poetry. Yes, it's been censored this week. Yeah, I can imagine after last week's. So what I thought would be nice was maybe find something a little more expert, no offence. None taken. And I found something very special for you. Joining us all the way from Hollywood. Hollywood! Or somewhere near it, it's right. California anyway. Professional actor, star of ER and WrestleMania the Musical. It's George Clooney. Professional poet, professional published poet, I have for you, Jeremy Radin. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, how are you? Good, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you so much for having me. And can you confirm for me that you are a real-life poet and Game of Thrones superfan? I am a real-life poet and Game of Thrones super. That is the best way to describe me. You should have it printed on some business cards. I'm going to get it tattooed. And am I right in thinking it's your life's ambition to appear as an actor on Game of Thrones? Oh, that would be the coolest thing ever. That's why I've been growing out this beard for so long. Well, this could be your big break. You're going for the Dothraki look.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely.
And you've got a poem for us today. What's your poem called?
The poem is called Winter is Coming.
And do you want to introduce it for us in any way, or do you just want to take it away?
It's what you call a persona poem. I am acting kind of as the approaching winter in the Game of Thrones world.
Okay, prepare yourself for something of great beauty. This is what's it called again?
Winter is Coming.
This is Jeremy Radin with Winter is Coming.
For too long now, you've been sucking the milk of the sun, taking her warmth into your fragile bellies. My time has come. I am braiding the antlers of aurochs into my beard. In the north, the tears of the wall have turned to arrows. Watch for the sigil of the snow bear with the castle in his mouth. I will eat this country like a lawless king as you stumble through the endings of your sweet weather games. This is no time to fight amongst yourselves. Let the wolf cubs sleep beneath the tongue of the lioness. Let the son of Dorne fold itself around the flower of Tyrell. Let the men of iron huddle in the embrace of the stag, for I come with a sky full of warhammers, in the wrist bones of giants, the wombs of gray ships, my spine the tusk of the lord of mammoths, arms packed with frozen crows. I will wear a crown of weirwoods, take your 7 for my salt wives. I am the White Walker tiptoe army, warden of the loveless, watcher on this boat of stars. Westeros, unlace your bodice. I want you trembling and breathless, wet as a cemetery just before sunrise, naked as a brothel of ghosts.
Wow. I felt like I was in a coffee shop in the West Village in 1961. That was so good.
I know you're thinking, it's good, but it's no Pam Ayres I wish I'd looked after my teeth. But Jeremy, I thought that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
I would unlace my bodice for you anytime.
That is good news.
It's not good news.
And if you think you can do better, and then let us know about it. It makes Annabelle's job a lot easier if she doesn't have to go finding these people. You can email us gameofthrones@sky.com, you can follow us on Twitter, or you can friend us on Facebook. Sophie Turner, Sansa Stark, hello.
Hello, how are you?
You are 16 now. How old were you when you first auditioned?
I was 13, nearly 3 years ago that I auditioned now.
Does that seem like forever?
I don't know, it does kind of seem like forever, but then, I don't know, it's only been 3 years.
And then what did you do for your audition? How did you get into it? How did you hear about it?
I heard about it through my drama teacher, Mrs. Barker Doherty.
So she'd heard about this thing?
She'd heard about it and she kind of put me forward, and then a few weeks later, I'm in the final 7 girls, and I was like, what? I auditioned with a girl who was auditioning for Arya, and then I auditioned with Maisie, and that seemed to work because that was my last audition that I had to
you
do.
two just clicked straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I remember walking in the room and we just like kind of high-fived each other and got on with it.
Great. How much do you think of this love for Joffrey? How much do you think of that as just duty? You know, she's got a sense of her destiny and what's expected of her. Do you think she genuinely loves him?
I don't think she loves him. She doesn't love him at all, not since he killed her father. He chopped off Ned's head. So she's literally just pleasing him to stay alive.
Biding her time.
Yeah.
And you can see the whole interview at sky.com/Game of Thrones. And you can also look at all the official Game of Thrones finery that you can own, plus tons of interviews, background information, and other useful stuff. Now, admittedly, I haven't tested them properly, but I believe that they know absolutely everything about Game of Thrones and all the books and everything. From Westeros.org, it's Elio and Linda. Hello.
Hey, Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hello. Are you celebrating the show being picked up for a 3rd season?
Great news, definitely. Yeah, it's tremendous news.
Now, Maisie Williams, she warned us that she had some big scenes with Charles Dance, but Arya and Tywin Lannister don't meet in the books, do they?
You're absolutely right about that. They don't actually meet directly. Arya is at Harrenhal, and Tywin is at Harrenhal at the same time, and she sees him walking around and doing his lordly thing, but they never directly interact at all whatsoever. So I thought that was a very interesting decision to to give him a scene, and both in this episode and apparently at least one more scene later on. I'm really interested in seeing what happens in that one.
Has that gone down well with the fans?
I don't think people would have a problem with it. I think it may be borrowing a little bit from some things that happen later in the book. So in that sense, I think people are fine as an adaptation choice.
Now, I said I had unshakable faith in your knowledge, the two of you. Here's a little test for you. Harrenhal, what is it? Whose castle is it? Why is it falling down?
Well, it is the castle built by Heron the Black, who ruled the Iron Islands and the Riverlands some 300 years ago, and he wanted the biggest castle in Westeros and started building it. It took 40 years and a lot of people died in its construction. And just as he moved in, Aegon the Conqueror and his sisters landed in what's to be King's Landing and started conquering Westeros. Eventually, they got to the Riverlands, and Heron and his sons decided to hole up in the castle, figuring we've got this mighty fortress, we'll be just fine. Well, it wasn't dragon-proof. That's why it's all looking melty and slagged and the stones kind of falling over, and it's still usable, but the dragons did quite a number on it and killed Heron and all his sons, and since then it's been passed from house to house. It's a great price, a great castle, well situated. But everyone seems to die out who gets it, so there seems to be a bit of a curse.
Well, some good advice there for anyone building a castle. Make it dragon-proof.
Yep.
Great, well, thanks for explaining that. I knew you would know the answer. Elio, Linda, thank you very much.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you, Jeff.
Bye.
That's all we can ram into this week's show, but remember, if you missed Game of Thrones or you want to watch it again, it's on Anytime Plus and Sky Go. And we'll be back after episode 5, The Ghost of Harrenhal, with yet another fantastic member of the Game of Thrones cast right here in the studio. Now remember, there's no cure for being a count. Are you sure you haven't left the spell checker on the autocue?